Good morning students, myself Prima. Today in this video we'll discuss about the deadlocks of operating system. Welcome back students. In the deadlock we'll study about the system model, its characteristics, methods for handling the deadlock, deadlock prevention, avoidance, detection and recovery from the deadlock. The main objectives of the deadlock chapter is to develop a description of deadlocks which prevents a set of concurrent processes from completing their task. The second objective is to present a number of different methods for preventing or avoiding deadlocks in a computer system. So deadlock is a scenario where uh, set of blocked processes, each holding a resource and waiting to acquire a resource held by another process. Means in this scenario there will be more than processes exist. Each process has one resource and it will be waiting for another resource which is held by the next process. So the process P1 will be waiting for another resource to complete its task, and this scenario is called as a deadlock. For example, there is one system which has two tape drives, P0 and P1. Each one will hold one tape drive and each needs another tape drive to complete its task. That is, P0 is held by one process P0. The first tape is held by this and it will be waiting for another tape which is already allocated to P1 process. So each one is waiting for other processors to release its resource, and this is called as a deadlock. So we can explain the deadlock using another example, that is the number of vehicles that are crossing a narrow bridge. As the bridge is narrow, the vehicles can move only in one direction, either from left to right or from right to left. So deadlock occurs when cars start moving from both the ends and they meet at the narrow bridge as shown in the figure. So none of the cars can move in any direction here, and this is called as a deadlock. Okay, so here we can see each section of the bridge as a resource. So to remove this deadlock, what we can do is the cars on one side of the bridge have to be rolled back. Okay, so if there are number of cars, then it will take a long time to roll back the all the cars and make a space for another car to move in the to pass through the bridge, and this is called as the starvation. Now we can define the system model of deadlock consisting of number of resources. Each resources are designated with R1, R2 up to Rm respectively, where R1 may be CPU cycle, R2 may be memory space and R3 may be IO devices. So each resource type Ri has Wi instances. That is, for example, if R4 is a printer which is an IO device and there are 4 printers, then we can say for R4 you have 4 instances. So each process utilizes a resource as a request or use or through the release. Now we can define the deadlock with the following 4 conditions, and these 4 conditions must held in simultaneously. The first one is mutual exclusion. So here only one process at a time can use a resource, that is resource sharing is not allowed. Then second is hold and wait. A process holding at least one resource is waiting to acquire additional resource held by the other processes. That is, process P1 is having one resource R1 and it is waiting for another resource held by process P2 to complete its task. So it is having one resource and it is waiting for another resource held by the another process P2. So this is called as hold and wait. No preemption. A resource can be released only voluntarily by the process holding it after that process completes its task. That is, process P1 is having one resource R1. It can release R1 only after completing the use of the resource R1. In between, it cannot release that resource R1. So we call it as a no preemption. The last characteristic is circular wait. So if there are n number of processes, P0 to Pn, each one is waiting for other process to release the resource. Like P0 is waiting for a resource that is held by P1. P1 is waiting for a resource that is held by P2. Like this, Pn is waiting for a resource that is held by P0. So each of the processes are waiting for a resource that is held by its next process. So they are in a circular wait. So we can say that deadlock situation occurs when all these four conditions are seen in that scenario. That is mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular wait. All these exist simultaneously in that situation, and that is called as a deadlock. So we can call all these are the four important characteristics of deadlock. In a deadlock, we are using one data structure known as resource allocation graph. And this graph consists of set of vertices V and set of edges E. Set of vertices V is partitioned into two types, P and R. P represents the set of processes in the system, and R represents the set of resources of the system. E consists of two types of edges, a request edge and an assignment edge. Both edges are of directed edge type. So request edge is process Pi is requesting for the resource Rj, and it is shown by the direction like this. Assignment edge is the resource Rj is allocated to the process Pi. Okay. So these are the symbols used by the resource allocation graph. The process is shown by the filled circle like this. The resources are shown by square boxes. If there are n instances, like this has 4 instances shown by 4 small boxes here, and this is the symbol used for request edge, that is process Pi is requesting for an instance of Rj. Okay, then next symbol is for the request edge, assignment edge. So Pi is assigned with one of the instances of Rj. So it is a symbol used for assignment edge. So now we see an example of a resource allocation graph here. So it consists of three processes, P1, P2, P3, four resources R1, R2, R3, R4. So for process P1, if it is requesting for the resource R1, so this is a request edge, whereas R2 is one instance of R2 is assigned to P1, so this is an assignment edge. R1 is assigned to P2 and P2 is requesting for R3, okay, whereas R3 is assigned to P3. So we can say that P2 is in a hold and wait state. It is holding the resource R1 and waiting for R3 to be released by P3. Okay, so we can observe here P2 is in hold and wait state, whereas R2 has two instances, and one instance of R2 is allocated to P1, another instance of R2 is allocated to P2. So there is no hold and wait. There is one more resource R4 with the three instances. None of them are allocated to any of the processes. So we have a resource allocation for a graph which shows the deadlock condition here. So first characteristics of deadlock is mutual exclusion, that is no sharing of the resources, that you can see here. P1 is requesting for R1 and R1 is allocated to P2. So it is not shareable. Any of the resources are not shareable here. First condition holds good. Second is hold and wait. P2 is requesting for R3 which is assigned to P3. So P2 is waiting for P3 to release the resource R3. It is already having R1. So hold is R1 waiting for R3. Hold and wait is seen here. Then you can see a circular wait here. P2 is requesting for R3. R3 is allocated to P3 and P3 is requesting for R2. R2 is allocated to P2. So circularly they are waiting for each other to release their resources, and it is called as the circular weight. So we can see that this resource allocation graph shows a deadlock situation. Now we have a graph here which can be used to check there exists a deadlock or not. We can say that cycle does not mean that it leads to always a deadlock. For example, P1 is requesting for R1, R1 is allocated to P3. P3 is requesting for R2, R2 is allocated for P1. So we can see a cycle here. But this graph doesn't show you the deadlock because there are multiple instances of R1 and R2. One instance is allocated to P3, another instance is allocated to P2. P2 is not requesting for any other resources, so it can complete its task independently. Similarly, P4 can complete its task independently. So the allocation graph shows that there is a cycle, but it is not leading to any deadlocks here. So from previous graph we can come to a conclusion that if graph contains no cycles, no deadlock. If graph contains a cycle, that is if only one instance per resource type is there, then there is a deadlock. If there are multiple instances of the resource type exist, then there may be possibility of deadlock. You may have a deadlock, may not have a deadlock, even though the graph contains the cycle. Thank you, students. Now we have come to the first part, that is introduction to deadlock, where we have covered the characteristics, data structure used for deadlock, that is resource allocation graph, which can be used to detect the deadlocks of the different processes. Thank you all.